Great Torpencto. Joined alongside me is Mike, Ghost User Dobler. And just in the break, we're giving out a lot of swag to the audience. Make sure you guys check out the next time we're going to be in your local area. Of course, we're here at the Red Bull Studio on Olympic and Stewart. We're also going to be in Toronto next week. It's going to be a great time. We're going to be over there yet again for the WCS finals. That's going to be happening. Top 6 players will move on from this. And Hero and Heart are right now fighting for one of those top 6 spots. We're going to find out who's going to be able to advance already. One player has, well, actually 5 players have. Hack has from the consolation bracket. And now we're going to find out who's the last person from the Americas to join up with all the other 15. But let's jump into the game right now. Hero versus Heart. Belshir Vestige is our map of choice. In the bottom right-hand corner, the Axiom player. He needs your support. He's down 1-2, but he's so aggressive. Give it up for Heart. And his opponent, let's say considered the favorite. The red Protoss spawning in the top left-hand corner. The Liquid player, former WCS champion. It is Hero!
And I think Heart's nerves have shown themselves already in this game. He accidentally stopped all of his SCVs from mining for 1 to 2 seconds just by, you know, boxing your workers, spamming that S to make SCVs from the command center, and accidentally making them stopping their mining.
Really unfortunate in the beginning stage for that to happen. But let's be honest, it's happened to everybody in one time or another.
Except for me, because I have removed that command from my drones.
You unbound S.
Yes.
It's definitely frustrating when I do it. Maybe Heart needs to take a page out of your book. But I do feel like Heart needs to change up his style right now. So far, we've seen every single game of him end his upgrades with 1-1. And if you know that's happening, whatever matchup it is, you can just wait and wait and wait. You could be economically inefficient and just know that whenever the engagement happens, when you're at 180 against 200 even, you will have the upper advantage because upgrades make such a large difference with these engagements. You don't have an open field like Derelict Watcher where you can just fight in the middle and have your concave really take advantage. It's normally these small chokes. Even this choke over here, it's a small choke. So you need those upgrades as you go further and further into not only the game, but the army sizes.
Especially against a player like Liquid Hero. You have 2 choices. Either 1, you have to end the game incredibly early on, or 2, you have to get those upgrades because Hero is a player who will like to play defensive and use harass and sit back until he has that full composition with Colossi Anti-Templar with which he can beat you if he's ahead in upgrades.
And a lot of people would say, how unreasonable is that, right? Killing Hero early. Like, that just does not happen. Hero is such a world-class player. As I said, a DreamHack winner, an NASL winner, a WCS winner, now I'm blanking. But he's up there. I mean, he's won multiple championships, and he is definitely a player that knows a lot about this game. Hero doing the same build that we saw him do on Whirlwind. Just going for the early Mothership Core as his first unit, and then getting an expansion before that. Taking to a second assimilator. On the other side, we have a reactor going down from Heart. Another barracks. This is the standard play. We're going to see when he actually goes to saturate his refinery, because that gives us a couple of indicators. He can go for a 3rd command center directly after this. He can go for additional barracks, or the conventional way to do this is to stay on the barracks, get a tech lab, and then just go up to, engineering bay, factory, etc. But I'm surprised we don't see a faster engineering bay from this build, because normally that's what you go for to defend against a lot of all-ins.
Yeah, but I think Heart is just kind of assuming that Hero won't go for the DT tech, and you don't need the engineering bay to defend against the Oracle as if you have your Marines in the correct position, as we've seen today so far.
That's very true. But Stargate will go down now. So Liquid Hero is starting things off with an Oracle. Now, he's definitely a player that we haven't really seen go Phoenix Colossi, but I have seen him go Phoenix High Templars. What are your thoughts on that? Because a lot of people would say, well, it almost feels like Phoenix plus, Charged Zealots. That's really the base of your army. don't have a lot of synergy. But Hero always seems to make it work at the same time.
Yeah, Hero's pretty good at that style, and I think he just likes to open the Stargate because he feels like he has pretty good control. He can get a little damage done, and then maybe he can even confuse his opponent, because a lot of the time you do follow up that Stargate with the Phoenix Colossi. And because he doesn't do that, I feel like he tries to take a small edge that way.
So it's just a mind game?
I think it's partially a mind game and partially just because I think he prefers to go Templar first most of the time.
Yeah.
He will go Colossi first sometimes, as we saw last game, but I think more than other Protesses, I see Hero heading for the Templar tech before Colossi.
And as I've talked about a lot of times, there's just an inherent advantage going High Templars before Colossus over going Colossus over High Templars. But no, maybe not. We're not going to see that as the robotics facility is placed down right now. Will we see any Phoenixes out of the Stargate? That's the big question. On the other side, we have very delayed tech coming out of our Terran player. 7.5 minutes in, just now starting the factory, more like 7:15. Engineering bay is placed, and he's gotten a third barracks. And as you can see, no extra gas. So he's just relying on a very, very strong force in the beginning stage to hopefully net him some kills. But the Oracle getting in here will be able to get a lot of SEV kills. That's 4 SEV kills so far, 5 in total. He could just back out. Hey, guess what? Oracle paid for itself.
It definitely did, and with making these 2 missile turrets, Hart was attempting to push out earlier with his bio, but now that he had to come back to defend against that Oracle with the Marines, this push is coming later than he wants it to, and because of that, I can't see it doing much damage.
It's delayed by like 15 seconds, and that does make a little difference, but I wouldn't say that much. You can see Hero just to top off at 200 out of 200. Normally at 830 for fast mothership core builds, that's when you have 2 photon overcharge. The first photon overcharge comes at 530. That gives you a lot of stability in the early game stage, but a big stim will be able to pick off a single stalker so far, but some great micro and a good time warp will enable Hero to kill a couple more units. But what's the time warp worth it, Mike? I mean, that represents a photon overcharge that he doesn't have anymore.
I think he used it because he was afraid of the stim. I'm not sure if it was completely necessary. I think if he didn't use it, I think it would have been fine with that photon cannon and the photon overcharge there. But I mean, I guess he was just being overly cautious, didn't want to make a mistake and somehow lose to those.
All right, well, we do have a starport going down, or being, making a medevac right now. Just a single one. There's the second one that gets thrown down. It's about 40 seconds late. That's the overall timing that we can see from this build so far, and it's because of the delayed gases that we've had, now adding on his 4th gas after he's taken his 3rd expansion. Oracle goes over to the 3rd base now. 4 Marines are there to intercept, but because of the stim and also the decrease of health that this Oracle has, he cannot contest those Marines. Let's see the infrastructure of Hero so far. We got a lot of gateways popping down. Phoenixes are being made, and he's going to Colossus. So we're seeing this Chinese style of Protoss play. We'll see if it's effective.
Yep, and so far he's done it pretty well. No actual mistakes in any of his defense. So we'll have to see how he progresses. His Oracle has also gotten a decent amount of damage done so far, which will help him out a little bit, even delaying that 3rd command center of Hart, picking off the 1st SCV. Now a 2nd one's on it and building it, however. And Hero is actually kind of moving out a little bit with his units. I don't think he's going to actually make a push with them, but maybe he's just trying to catch some of Hart's units off guard.
I think so. This is just a surprise tactic, and he'll back up from here. He has 4 force shields in this single sentry, so it helps out a lot. And he's just trying to dissuade his opponent from ever pressuring in, right, until he has more time to get his 3rd up. Because right now, in Hart's position, this looks more of like a pressure build off of 2 base, right? He's being so aggressive. Oh, great catch right here! And he will be able to take out a medevac with 4 Marines inside. Really heads-up play from Hero, being able to do this. What the heck? Map hack, I'm calling it. Hero has a map hack. Now taking out the other 2 Marines that dropped, saying, no, you guys die too, with all your other friends.
And Hart has to be so frustrated at this point. This isn't something that happens to you often as a Terran player in TVP. I haven't seen any Protesses moving around the map as aggressively as Hero in the early game. Usually, Protest players would just stay defensive and defend the 3 bases with the army positioned at the natural until they have a pretty big army. But Hero's moving around the map all the time, and because of that, he's getting some incredibly nice pickoffs with his Phoenixes.
Look at the Oracle still doing... Damn it. No. I was just kidding. You can't look at the Oracle anymore, Mike.
I can't, but I saw it before it died.
Okay. A hallucinated Colossus isn't going to fool anybody, Hero, because a big scan goes on top of the army. He sees High Templars now, and that is going to stress Hart a little bit more. But no, Hart actually reads and says, hey, I have a timing. But Storm gonna finish in less than 15 seconds. Is it going to be enough time to do something here?
That's a small timing, Andre.
That is a small timing. Time Warp is going to be placed down. Hero in a good position. His Colossus will go down, but a lot of SCVs joined up in this fight. Where are the High Templars so far? Storm is finished. They're all the way back there. SCVs are tanking the majority of this damage. Is it going to be enough, though?
Amazing Storm so far on a lot of the bio, and he still has a Storm left. I don't know that Hart can make what he wants to happen with his army happen.
It will be tough, as Hart is going to move into the 3rd base, try to pick up as much as possible. Units streaming in from the backside, and there are a couple of High Templars here that can storm out. But is he going to go through with this? That's the big question. So far, Hero has a pretty good defense, but Hart's aggression, man, it is scary now. Hero's patented aggression, and he gives up. Just broken. I don't think that's a position Hart needed to give up right there.